Breaking news! Tensions within the Miami Dolphins organization are reaching a boiling point with none other than Tyreek Hill. This is one of the latest pieces of news to hit the headlines in the last few hours, and I'll tell you all about it. But first, make sure you've hit the like button if you're a diehard Dolphins fan. If possible, comment something like, "Go Dolphins! Fins up!" In a recent outburst, Hill passionately called out his team, claiming that the Dolphins simply don't have enough dogs. His raw and unfiltered frustration stems from a deep-seated desire to win, a hunger he claims isn't being met across the roster. Let's dive into the details and unpack Hill's criticism, its potential impact on the team, and what it means for the Dolphins' future. Hill's fiery comments came on the heels of the Dolphins' regular season finale loss to the New York Jets, a game that highlighted several cracks in Miami's armor. For Hill, it wasn't just a loss. It was a reflection of deeper systemic problems. "Man, I've been winning my whole life," he exclaimed. "I work hard every day. I deserve to feel this way. I deserve to have some kind of say. You guys need to fix this." Those words weren't just about the game. They were a direct challenge to the team's leadership, culture, and commitment to excellence. A closer look at Hill's comments reveals dissatisfaction with head coach Mike McDaniel, a sentiment that's been simmering for some time. Hill pointed to specific moments during the season, including games against the San Francisco 49ers and Green Bay Packers, where he felt the team faltered under pressure. The wide receiver even suggested that McDaniel's coaching decisions, particularly around player reps and game preparation, played a role in some of his own on-field struggles. During the season, Hill blamed his performance issues, including critical dropped passes, on a lack of practice reps, indirectly placing responsibility on McDaniel. This friction between player and coach is emblematic of a larger issue within the team, a perceived lack of accountability and toughness, which Hill believes starts at the top. The wide receiver has openly questioned whether the Dolphins have the mental and physical fortitude to compete at the highest level, especially in crucial moments. Hill's criticisms extend beyond coaching to his teammates. He made it clear that the Dolphins lack players with the competitive edge, the dogs, needed to thrive in high-stakes situations. Reflecting on specific games, Hill noted that a defense with dogs wouldn't miss over 20 tackles, as they did against Green Bay. Similarly, an offense full of dogs wouldn't crumble in pivotal matchups against teams like the Buffalo Bills and Houston Texans. For Hill, the issue isn't just talent, it's a mindset. This isn't the first time Hill has openly voiced his concerns. Throughout the season, he's highlighted inconsistencies in quarterback Tua Tagovailoa's performances, especially in big games. While acknowledging Tua's potential, Hill questioned his ability to deliver consistently under pressure. The same scrutiny was applied to Hill himself, as he candidly admitted to falling short in critical moments, including dropped passes and fumbles in games that could have changed the Dolphins' trajectory.
Hill's call for more dogs on the roster wasn't limited to complaints. He also pointed to specific needs, particularly in the trenches. On the defensive side, Hill highlighted players like Zach Sealer, Bradley Chubb, and Jaylon Phillips as the few dogs currently holding their ground. However, he stressed the need for additional reinforcements, especially at defensive tackle, where he identified several potential draft targets who could bring the toughness and edge Miami desperately needs. Offensively, Hill expressed concerns about the team's line, calling out issues with durability and performance. While players like Terron Armstead and Connor Williams have shown flashes of dominance, injuries and inconsistencies have plagued the unit. Hill's critique extended to his fellow wide receivers and special teams, urging the Dolphins to not only bring in new talent but also demand more from their current players. Despite the sharp criticisms, Hill's comments come from a place of passion and commitment to the team's success. He's not calling for a complete overhaul, but rather a cultural shift, one that prioritizes toughness, consistency, and accountability. The hiring of a new wide receivers coach, Robert Prince, offers a glimmer of hope. Known for his success with players like C.D. Lamb and Jalen Tolbert, Prince brings a wealth of experience and a reputation for developing talent. However, the real test will be whether the coaching staff, led by McDaniel, can address the broader issues Hill has raised. As the Dolphins enter the offseason, the spotlight is firmly on the organization. Hill's comments have ignited a debate among fans and analysts alike. Is he right to call out the team so publicly, or does his approach risk creating further division? One thing is clear, Hill's words have resonated, forcing the Dolphins to confront their shortcomings and reevaluate their path forward. Now, over to you, Dolphins fans. Do you agree with Tyreek Hill's assessment of the team? Are the Dolphins truly lacking dogs, or is there another explanation for their struggles? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. The conversation sparked by Tyreek Hill's statements isn't just confined to the locker room, it's spilling out into the fan base and media. What does it mean for the Dolphins to have more dogs, and how realistic is it for this cultural shift to take place? Hill's pointed remarks have brought an uncomfortable truth to the surface. Talent alone isn't enough. What separates championship teams from the rest is a combination of grit, determination, and a relentless drive to perform under pressure. It's this intangible quality that Hill feels is currently missing from the Dolphins. The timing of Hill's outburst couldn't be more critical. With the offseason ahead, the Dolphins have a unique opportunity to reshape their roster, refine their coaching strategies, and recalibrate their culture. But the question remains, will the organization rise to the challenge, or will they let Hill's frustrations fester without taking meaningful action? Let's break this down. On the defensive side, Hill's concerns about missed tackles, lack of focus, and inconsistent performances are spot on. Miami's defense has shown moments of brilliance, but those moments have been overshadowed by glaring lapses. Hill wasn't shy about calling out specific players, and he's right to say that these breakdowns cost the team pivotal games. The Dolphins' defense must become a unit that thrives in adversity, not one that crumbles under pressure. The solution? As Hill suggested, it starts in the trenches. The Dolphins need to prioritize drafting and acquiring defensive linemen with the physicality and mental toughness to dominate. Hill highlighted several promising prospects, like Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, and Walter Nolan, who could inject the defense with much-needed energy and resilience. These aren't just players with potential, they're players with the kind of presence that can change the entire dynamic of a defense. The offensive line is another key area of concern, and Hill's critique was just as sharp here. Injuries and underperformance have plagued Miami's offensive line for years, and Hill made it clear that relying on potential isn't enough. Players like Austin Jackson, despite showing flashes, haven't lived up to expectations. Hill's point about the lack of durability is particularly telling. An offensive line that can't stay healthy or cohesive is a liability, especially in a division as competitive as the AFC East. But Hill's criticism wasn't limited to just the trenches or his teammates. His own performance came under his self-imposed microscope. While acknowledging his dog mentality, Hill was brutally honest about his shortcomings in critical moments. From dropped passes in high-stakes games to fumbles that shifted momentum, Hill admitted that he hasn't always lived up to his own standards. This self-awareness is both refreshing and telling. It demonstrates that Hill isn't just pointing fingers, he's holding himself accountable, too. What makes this discussion even more intriguing is the backdrop of Miami's quarterback situation. Hill's relationship with Tua Tagovailoa has been a topic of conversation all season, and his comments suggest a nuanced perspective. Hill clearly believes in Tua's talent and leadership, but also sees the need for more consistency and resilience in critical moments. His mention of Tua turning into a puppy in some situations might sting, but it underscores a reality that many fans have debated. Can Tua be the long-term answer at quarterback if he doesn't take the next step in his development? Of course, the responsibility doesn't fall solely on the players. Hill's critique of Mike McDaniel was just as pointed, highlighting moments where coaching decisions or a lack of decisiveness cost the team. From game preparation to in-game adjustments, Hill implied that McDaniel needs to step up and lead with more authority. This includes not just strategy but also fostering a culture of accountability and toughness that permeates the entire roster. So, Dolphins fans, the ball is in your court. Do you believe the organization will rise to the challenge and create the culture of toughness and accountability that Tyreek Hill is demanding? Or do you think Hill's comments are an overreaction to a frustrating season? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. This offseason could define the future of the Dolphins, and your voice matters now more than ever.